esta cama.
También. Creo que es la cama de Juan Guarnizo.
¿Cuenta?
Out of my way!
Sí.
Get out of my way!
¿Qué va a
Cuidado. Premoniciones.
What
Se
happened?
vienen las
Why is
putas.
everyone running? No idea, but something must have happened. Stop asking.
Si tú ves un montón de gente corriendo, tú no preguntas, tú corres.
Who's yelling?
O sea, yo pregunto y
Everyone
digo,
still
¿qué
wants
mierda
to
pasa? Me
sleep.
responde un corro.
Suena
¿Qué
el
crees que
agua.
está pasando? Oh.
Suena agua, así
Tinky.
como un montón de agua. Mi talosfobia se va a activar.
Se va a activar
Hay
muy
una-
rápido.
Suena una alarma.
What happened?
Si están evacuando, ¿de qué están evacuando?
Hey,
Mario.
what are you doing?
There's no time to explain, mate.
Sí,
Hey,
No, ese no es Mario, ese no es Mario. Ahorita viene Mario y Luigi, me encantan, te lo juro.
what's wrong with these people? They won't even talk to us.
Tienes que correr si toda gente corriendo. Nunca te quedes
They're
parado.
here! Yeah! There you
Ah,
are!
Luigi.
¡Ahí está! ¡Mario!
Oh, thank goodness!
Mario. Ya sé que se llama la
Vete,
bruja,
Mario,
pero no
pues.
es Mario y Luigi.
Maroon, do you know what happened here?
Te lo juro, me caen súper bien esos tipos. Aunque solo los he visto una vez.
To inform you. Something seems to have gone terribly wrong
Bueno, dos
just
veces
now.
con esto.
His Grace is telling everyone to evacuate
Sí,
and get
ajá.
out of here.
Pero igual valen la
Furina
pena.
was
Son...
saying you two are new here and you don't have many friends, so you might
Solo los
slip through
conoceré
the
como
cracks.
Mario y Luigi.
Haven't you heard
Y
all
es-
the stories like that? An evacuation is
Pero en vez
successfully
de
completed.
hacer, ¿cómo
Yet
se
you
llama?
only find out once you do a
Plomería,
head count that one or two people were
hacen
missing.
chismes.
Wait, weren't you the one who brought that up? Why is it suddenly my idea?
Hey, shut up!
Okay, whatever. The point is, you should come with us. Yeah, he said to get as far away as possible, upwards and outwards.
Oh, es el agua, ¿ves?
It can't be that thing.
Whoa, wait, what? What? Hey!
We have to go find the Duke. You two just go and get out. Go on without him.
Hey, hey! Be careful!
Pobrecitos.
Sí, pero... Rápido, rápido. De todo, tienes que salvar al duque.
No, yo creo que no está bien, pero me encantaría que esto del agua de acá se empezara a subir así. Pero no hay tanto presupuesto para eso. Oh, sí, hay
No,
un
es
montón
que-
de presupuesto que este juego pues no lo usan ya está Raúl.
Es que sin...
¿Ahora se queda abierto
Bueno.
para siempre?
Sí, se queda esto abierto para siempre.
Oh, qué bueno.
Con los hermanos. Sí,
They're here.
prepárate, ahora sí vas a ver el verdadero poder.
Just like I
Ya le
said.
pasó los ojos a Clorinda. Hasta que se sale
Con los
el
hermanos.
agua.
You're just in time. But be ready to run.
Ah, la mitad. Yo quiero que salga este pin. ¿Qué te pasa ahí?
No, sí, está, es bien chévere. Mira,
Esa agua es otro color.
sí, pues es el agua primordial. Mira,
Igual todavía un montón de agua ahí abajo.
sí, pero igual, o sea, que ya lo haya podido pararlo desde un puño, está, es bien chévere.
Sí. Lini no le ganaba.
No. Ya, plan B, plan B.
Me encantaría que él pudiera lanzar rayos de hielo con sus manos.
3, 2,
Ahí está.
1.
¿Cómo lo presionaron?
Listo.
Espero que ese metal
This
no sea
won't hold
débil
it
al
for
hielo.
long. Find
Que hay
Nuvilet.
metales que son
Tell him the
superresistentes
defenses
como
are
el
about to
titanio
collapse.
contra ese hielo.
What happened to you?
Until he arrives, we're the last line of defense.
Con cuidado.
The
¿Qué va a hacer
gate.
Clorinda acá?
How long do you think it'll hold?
That depends on
No
us.
sé, pero algo.
Se quedan posando ahí. ¿Y de dónde viene el viento?
Neverlet, why are you here?
Traveler, I need you to head to the Opera House immediately.
Ok.
Furina will soon be meeting with
Ahora
the
se
knave
viene
there.
la
You
cita.
must protect Furina and make sure she doesn't spend too much time
Ah,
alone with
por
her.
esto él no quería ir.
Will do.
No, no quería ir
You
por
have
eso,
my
porque no quería dejar a
sincerest gratitude.
Furina ahí sola.
No, pero él no quería la cita con Arlequino. ¿Se ve? Ah, no, ya se metió. Vamos. ¿Hay fatus ahí? Sí, hay fatus.
Look, there are a ton of Fatui and Palais Mermonia people over there. The knave is probably here already. We need to hurry. Are you two the traveler in Paimon? Monsieur Nervalet has left instructions. Please follow me. Though I'm sure he's already explained, this should be a mostly cordial conversation, unlikely to give rise to violence. But it would be most appreciated if you could protect Lady Furina to the best of your abilities.
Sí. A Furina sí. Vamos. A ver, vamos a ver.
¿Preparado?
Sí.
Cita doble. Pero esta parte
Mira
es la que me...
cómo le cambió la carita al bebé.
Oh, so you two are
Sí,
the
ve.
honored guests Miss Farina mentioned.
A ver,
Of course.
el más fuerte que nos ha enfrentado es
How
Scaramouche,
could
que es
they
el
not
sexto.
attend a meeting such
La
as
cuarta,
this?
no sé qué tan fuerte sea.
I must always have 2 or
Bueno,
more guests at
Scaramouche no
my
sé si
dessert
seguirá siendo
table.
el sexto en su boss
Otherwise,
fight.
the
porque,
occasion would be
Dios,
too lonely and
ahí
unbecoming
fácil
of my
pasa a
station.
tercero.
It is my pleasure to make
No,
your
pero después de eso
acquaintance,
se eliminó a sí
traveler.
mismo de
I have heard
la
much
No, pero
existencia.
en su batalla, ¿qué nivel tenía? Pues
I am the knave, one of
habrá
the
fácilmente
11
subido hasta el
Fatui
tercer puesto en eso.
harbingers.
The Knave, el nabo.
Now.
Me encanta pensarlo así. El
I've
nabo,
already
imagina.
prepared seats for you. Come, sit beside me.
Quiere que nos estemos acostados. porque-
Perhaps you two are
Ah,
unaware
saco
of how Miss Farina and I do things.
Claro que sí,
You
pues
see,
es
we
The
actually
Knave.
recently agreed to get together for tea when we had the
Eula,
time.
Alter.
See this? This is a limited
Eula,
type of
pero
confectionery
si la
that Miss
quiere,
Farina
mi hoyo.
simply adores.
Tremendo
There are only
tenedor que
16
tiene la
slices
torta.
sold every day. Here, why don't you and Paimon have a taste?
Cuidado, cuidado, te van a envenenar, te van a envenenar.
Que Paimon coma primero. Yo haría
Traveler,
eso.
what do you think of this
La
cake?
nave. The Knave, la nave.
No,
That's good to hear.
ni-
So
ni lo
what
probaron,
Child
pero
said
bueno.
was on the mark after all. You do share a taste in desserts with Furina and I.
Furina
I wonder
Cacho.
how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly gone missing. I'm really worried
pero-
about his
Siento que está
safety, you
mintiendo. En el
know.
trailer yo vi que no se
Here's
tratan
to
de...
hoping that he's an excellent
No,
swimmer.
en definitiva, no se tratan nada bien, mira. Ahorita-
Since
Está
we're
hablando con un
talking
montón de
about him,
sarcasmo.
I feel like I should add
Si te
something.
fijas.
His martial
Sí.
prowess really looked certainly
Que ahorita
pretty
están
impressive.
manteniendo
Yeah.
todo el tema de etiqueta. Pero cuando se vaya, sientan que ya no hay
So
forma
you're
de que vayan a
also familiar with
presentarse,
his aptitude for
ahí la
fighting,
etiqueta
Miss
se va a ir.
Furina.
Se va a mostrar el
Oh,
verdadero
right. I almost
Arlequino.
forgot. Child was subdued by Udex Nuvilette right in front of you. Against
Uh-oh.
ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined he'd run into such a person. I must express my admiration for Monsieur Nuvilette. Coming from you, that's not surprising at all.
But I thought you would be happier to hear the news.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news somewhat earlier. As you well know, a long time has passed since Child disappeared.
Ay, no me da penita.
No, sí, es que literalmente
Well, in any case, there's no
le
need to worry.
está
We know for sure
jodiendo
the
mucho.
child is still
No, pero la
alive.
quiso matar. O sea,
Oh.
desde el punto de vista de Furina
And
parecía que la querían
just
matar.
how do you know that?
Because we found evidence that proved he left the Fortress of Mirapede.
And where did he go after leaving the fortress?
Eso no sabemos.
Well,
Vamos a ver.
The fortress of Meripede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had to swim for it. Do you have any proof that he surfaced safely?
No, lamentablemente en este
That's good
momento.
news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was unfortunately unavailable, I picked it up on
¿Ves?
his behalf. Do you have any idea how he usually
Pausa,
writes
pausa.
back to his family? Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our time in Snezhnaya together. I'm currently admiring the scenery on the streets in front of the opera house. Is it something like that?
¿Sabes qué está haciendo, no?
Sí, le está presionando mucho a Furina.
No, o sea, le está jodiendo, le está haciendo creer de que tú, por tu culpa él acaba de desaparecer.
Y está
Tú no eres
muerto,
digno.
algo así.
Sí,
All
exacto.
letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long as the contents are accurate, it doesn't matter so much how it's written or how it's worded. Huh?
Ay, no, ya la tiene.
Hold on.
¿Qué cosa?
Water in the teacup is shaking.
Ah, no, pensé que la había fregado mentalmente, pero...
I suppose this is also a sign of things to come, Miss Furina.
Huh? I don't quite understand what you're trying to say.
Have we entered into the next stage of the prophecy?
Mm,
Ay, no. Pero no le digas eso, ella está chiquita.
ya,
A
claro.
ver, Nubilet, por favor, haz algo. ¿Cuánto hielo le has estado metiendo, ma?
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
Y fue caminando, así, con lo más tranquilo del mundo.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow.
Vas a ver el
So,
poder,
what's your
man.
secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Sounds about right.
Vamos a ver, Kamehameha cayó que por 20 de
No, lo contrario.
Porque yo sé que él puede absorber el agua y eso.
Agua control.
Porque él con su ulti absorbe las velitas y aumenta su Kamehameha.
A day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day. This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe.
¿Ves?
Esa es la ulti. Pero ese sello nomás va a durar hasta que Nubilet se muera. Cuando él se muera, todo valió.
The sentence is
No,
too severe.
no
Forgive me
aguantar
for
mucho
overruling
tampoco.
it.
Tienen que terminar el barco al toque. O sea,
No, tienen que ver cómo deshacerse del agua.
no van a poder. En ese tiempo tienen nomás tiempo para terminar el barco.
All right. Seems like the problem inside has been suppressed.
Let me guess. We're safe for now.
Indeed. But only for now.
Te digo.
I win this bet. You owe me a present.
Very well. It was indeed just as you said.
You made a bet?
Me encanta.
We made a bet on the size of your entourage. Cloran thought you wouldn't come down by yourself.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake. It appears I underestimated just how confidential the mission was.
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now?
Sí.
That's just how the courts operate.
So what gift must the loser give? Tea?
He already has tons of tea in his office. I'm thinking about a set of legal codices.
That wouldn't happen to be a dig at my lack of legal awareness, would it?
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress to be outside the law.
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would be uninterested in the legal codices.
That was obviously a joke. Anyway, you've still got some unfinished business to attend to in the overworld, correct?
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all know you can't leave Palais Mermonia for long.
Thank you.
No voy a
I hope everything went smoothly with the Fatui Harbinger.
¿Sobre quién?
sobre Arlechino.
No, en verdad, el arglachino no es el problema principal ahorita.
Es que si nos matan a Furina, estamos un poco fregados, ¿eh?
No matar a
I must
Furina.
say,
No tiene
we've
intención de
spent long
matarla.
enough
Si la deja
playing
traumada también, porque
house.
nos la
Miss
inutiliza.
Furina, as the Hydro
Ya de por
Archon,
sí es
I am
inútil.
sure you understand
Sí,
the
pero puede
exact
hacer algo
meaning
al
of the
menos.
phenomenon we just
Si la
witnessed.
deja traumatizada va a ser peor.
Or should I say, that's what I originally thought. But looking at your expression, was I wrong? And you haven't a
Ya.
clue?
Mira, ahora sí,
What are you
literalmente,
trying
mira,
to say?
pausa.
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you now as just a Fontanian. You know the prophecy by heart, and also that every part of it is being proven true.
Dime.
Mira, literalmente, o sea, no sé hasta qué punto en verdad Arlequino, o sea, juega mal con, o sea, intenta joder a Furina porque solo por joder o porque también se siente decepcionada.
Creo que ambas cosas.
Porque en verdad, o sea, o sea, de un principio, o sea, obviamente primero o sea, ella fue a atacar a Furina en ambos momentos donde se han conocido, pero ahora es como, o sea, pero ahora literalmente como que ni siquiera le tiene el respeto, como que dice, ¿por qué eres arconte? O sea, yo podría hacer un mejor trabajo, algo así, lo que siento.
Es que, bueno, es que, pobrecita Furina, es que no está capacitado, nadie la capacitó para el puesto.
Yet,
Sí, pero
here
ese es un
you
problema
are
también.
relaxing, drinking tea, and eating
es completamente
desserts
su
as if
culpa, o sea,
it's
no hay
all
nadie que
Mira.
nothing
enseñe.
more than a few stray bugs in your garden. Do you really think that's acceptable?
No.
The prophecy's hanging above our necks like a guillotine. Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Hearth have devoted everything to saving their homeland.
¿Ves?
But
Por eso digo que siento,
it
creo que
beggars
ella está
belief
enojada
just
en
how
verdad, porque
Sí, está,
nonchalant and
se le nota,
carefree
en la
you
voz,
have
se le
been.
nota.
From the very beginning, you, the god Focalor, you have utterly failed to take action.
Ya sé cuál es
You're
el meme.
wrong.
Ya sé cuál es el
I've
la
never
portada.
ignored
Ya sé
the
cuál es la portada,
prophecy,
no tengo problema.
nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods with such absurd conjectures.
I am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine may be harboring the exact same thoughts right now.
está jodiendo, pero
Oh,
fuertísimo.
great Hydro Archon. How are you going to save them? Save us? How are the people you've sworn to protect supposed to survive in a land that will soon disappear beneath the waves?
I have my ways, and I've been working on them for all this time. Even if you look down upon me, you have no right to judge me. Fontaine will be saved.
Furia se paró.
Even if I still cannot see the true future right now, as long as I continue on as I am, I will be able to hold my head up high.
A la mierda.
Sí.
O sea,
Then I ask you, Miss Furina,
Ese
just
es
what
el
have you been
arte
working on?
hídrico.
Where can we
sí, pero el
see it
problema es
and
que
what
como
is
que
it doing to help?
primer momento donde se pone fuerte, algo le pasa, ¿ves? Mira,
Sí, mira. Es que
de vuelta como...
le tiene miedo, pues.
Sí, pero ya sacó cara, debería continuar sacando cara.
Machinations
Tú
are
podrías
just
sacar cara
like the
enfrente de alguien que
prophecy
te intenta
itself.
matar.
They will only reveal themselves at the fated
O sea,
time.
entiendo, pero es
That
como
beings
que...
like yourselves are unable to perceive them as
Es que
of
tú no
yet.
puedes... Es que
I
Furina no es la
see.
más bonita del
As a
mundo y tú ya lo
god, the
sabes.
proof
pues
of your
está
labor
cagadaza.
always lies beyond prying
Sí, pero
mortal eyes.
tipo... No sé, yo te lo
Allow me
juro,
to
si es
be
que ella
so
para
bold
hacer
as to
eso, ya
ask another way.
iría al golpe.
Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your plan that are not
Es que
confidential?
la cosa es que no creo que ella
Such
pelee mucho.
as
En cambio,
your
Arlequino
emergency
sí.
response plan for the impending disaster?
An emergency response plan?
Ay, pobrecito, no puede.
That look in your eyes. Have you not even prepared one of
Sí,
those?
sí que lo tiene, pero es confidencial.
The emergency response plan is also strictly
Al menos sabe eso.
confidential.
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Furina, what is the purpose of your oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinal? And what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the years?
The oratrice? It's just like it appears to be.
So you also have no idea. If I'm not mistaken, someone's using it to prepare for something. But unfortunately, it would seem that someone is not you, Miss Furina.
Uy, uy, uy.
I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the oratrice in the opera house. You see, even just getting close to the core contaminated him with an extremely large amount of indemnitium. But even if that had nothing to do with you, then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Archon? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Nuvilette is not at the tea party with us today. Miss
Se
Furina,
aprovecha de eso
I
ahorita
suppose you must have
para
ordered him
tirarle
away to
toda la
take
mierda
care
que
of
tiene
some
Sí, por
por
eso
dentro.
no,
some
no está Nubilet
business.
para refutarle.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly right. Please keep it a
Y nosotros
secret
tampoco
for me.
podemos decir mucho.
Of course I will.
No sabemos,
Although,
obviamente.
I must say, Miss Farina, you seem
Solo la
quite
única razón por la que el
insecure
Travel
without the
está ahí es
Udex
para
by
que
your
literalmente
side.
No
no
la
puede
Oh,
maten.
hacer
very well.
para que
Let's
no la
stop that
maten.
conversation
Podría
here.
hacerlo
There
fácilmente.
are still a few
Si no
slices of
estuviéramos
cake
nosotros,
left,
pero no.
so please, help yourselves, everyone.
Sí, solamente estamos acá para que no la maten. No te preocupes, estoy vivito.
Y eso es lo más fuerte, en verdad, de esta parte.
Sí.
Es que literal,
No puedes
lo
hacer,
único que
no
está...
puedes hacer nada.
Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the Udex. Why don't you take an extra slice of cake? Those who work hard deserve gratitude and praise. You too,
¿Ves?
Paimon.
Pausa.
Paimon will take you up on that offer.
Dime.
Hasta con esa frase le está jodiendo a Furina porque le está diciendo, mira, hasta ellos que no están, son de acá, están trabajando para proteger a la gente. ¿Y tú qué haces?
Pucha, es que la tiene en la cuerda, la espada contra la pared a la pobrecita.
Es que literalmente no hay o sea, no hay manera en que pueda defenderse porque literalmente todo lo que está diciendo es una verdad.
Sí.
O sea, Furina, aunque no sea la... O sea, no sea el mejor arconte ni nada, igual no está haciendo nada. O por lo menos nada aparentemente.
O sea, aparenta que no está haciendo nada.
Sí, y eso obviamente, o sea, hace que más sea una celebridad que una persona a la cual, pucha, tener en alta estima.
Sí.
Y ese es el mayor problema y esa es la debilidad que le está golpeando y golpeando ahorita. Porque no tiene nada con lo que defenderse y para justificar de que, pucha, he hecho mi parte. No hay nada.
No hay nada, porque, o sea, y lo que ha hecho es confidencial, así que está fregado. Mucha madre.
Sí, pe. Furina ahorita recibe o sea, es por eso, solo por esta cosa de ahorita, es que me dio penita Furina y dije,
Oh,
pucha,
Paimon's
por
super full. That
Sí.
cake was great.
pero también un poco, o sea, yo le dije, mira, pucha, pobrecita, pero al mismo tiempo, ahora ya sé más humilde, no seas tan cagona.
Cierto.
Sí, porque o sea, ya está bien, la has cagado, pero se puede resolver, pero sé más humilde, no seas tan yoísta en
Tan Furina.
ese sentido. O sea, es tan Furina, sí.
Es un poco más Focalors.
Sí.
O al revés, no sé. Pero sí, debe ser un poco más humilde. También me da pena. Pues, o sea, le meten el arlequino ahí, ¿no?
If it's on my tea table,
Otra vez,
it must be of the highest quality. Yes, and we must thank the knave for bringing these over as well.
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to be featured at Miss Furina's table. And I was merely catering to Miss Furina's tastes, seeking a chance to chat over tea. It is getting late. Why don't we call it a day? There are still a few matters
¿Ves?
that I
No,
need to
no
take
es
care
porque
of,
Arlequina
so
sea mala,
I
sino que
must take
siento
my
que
leave
también
now.
Está decepcionada de
Very
Furina.
well. We'll end it here.
está decepcionada de Furina, de
Mind
que no está
seeing me
haciendo
off,
nada.
traveler. We could use the opportunity to discuss Child before I must be
Porque
on
al,
my
al
way.
final de cuentas, también ella es
De
de ahí. Sí. Entonces, obviamente, también le afecta ver que su propio Dios
no está haciendo
no hace
nada.
sí, está ahí tirado, no haciendo nada, está hueveando en otras cosas.
Literal, yo. Los otros.
Entonces, por ese lado sí comprendo que está enojado.
Sí. O sea, normal, pues. Ay, me dio penita, pero sí.
The tea party turned out to be even more difficult than I'd imagined. Why are you
Eso sí, me
looking at
encanta
me
su
like
actriz de
that?
voz. Su actriz de voz sí
Is
hace su
something the
parte.
matter?
Sí,
If
no.
there's nothing urgent, then
Sí.
I shall be retiring for now.
¿No le puedo decir nada? Ah, pucha.
No, lamentablemente sí se queda.
Ahí queda, ok. Pero me da penita.
¿A quién no?
O sea, una cosa pues es decirle lo que está haciendo mal, pero otra cosa será el equino.
Es que Arlequino es, digamos...
¿Esa puerta se podía abrir antes? Acá. Creo que es primera
Sí.
gente. O sea, siento que no vine acá antes. O sea, sí por acá, pero... Y se supone que ya desbloqueé esta parte, ¿qué pasó? No sé, como que me dio algo, como que no estuve acá nunca, pero sí.
No, sí, también al principio cuando yo lo hice también me pasó así. Dije como que, oye, ¿qué? Esta parte... Y esto acá...
Como tú acostumbras a venir por acá, pero la oratriz no estaba acá ahí cuando hice la misión. Como que estaba tapada.
Sí, es medio raro, pero... Bueno. Ahora sí, es hora de enfrentarte.
I'm glad that you were willing to come with me. Of course, Child was just an excuse. I have no interest in your dealings with him.
Ya lo sabía.
That's what Paimon thought.
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father, I would like to express my gratitude.
Lo hice por Linet, no por ti.
That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal settings, and informal topics in informal settings. I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get anything out of you. Linny, Lynette, and Fremine are still there, and I trust their judgment and abilities.
They've all been working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back against anyone who tried to stop them, especially Linny.
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Linny's so eager to prove himself that he can't learn to rely on others, including me. By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle gossip, but what's your impression of Furina? You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine, able to move around most easily. Allow me to share my perspective with you.
A ver.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the fortress of Meripede.
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel an ounce of shame for all the trouble he has caused? Forget it. He did give us an opportunity. I will be meeting someone shortly.
Do you require help with any preparations?
No need. I will take care of it myself. I need to meet with Furina, the Hydro Archon. She is at the heart of Fontaine. But what's fascinating about her is that she often seems more like a celebrity than a working Archon.
Sí, eso es cierto.
Oh, come over here, you
Ay, acá
little
está la
critter,
parte que te
you.
decía, esta me spoileé.
No, yo no sabía, en verdad.
Yo sí, esto es lo que me spoileé.
You dare to run from me? Stop right this instant!
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. But I didn't expect the chance to approach Furina to be handed to me on a silver platter. This is so easy, it's actually making me a bit suspicious. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But
Me encantaría si
no
cuando
one will
alguien
blame
fuera a jugar
someone for
tenga esta
taking
skin en vez de la
bait.
otra.
After all, from the moment it was attached to the hook, the bait is meant to be sacrificed. It's just as I guessed in the second before I struck. The Hydronosis is not currently held by the Archon. In fact, this Archon doesn't seem like a god at all. And I sense that she's under some kind of curse.
Who are you? And what are you trying to do? Please don't kill me. I'm begging you, please.
¿Ves que
The
la voz es muy
fear
buena?
in her pupils is genuine.
Sí.
So perhaps she's not bait after all. Either way, targeting her has lost all meaning. I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my near assassination of Focalor. I suspect even Furina dares not mention this incident to anyone.
Sí.
Not long after, my informants confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Furina quietly cried alone. She was so scared that she could not sleep that night, nor could she
Ay,
even bring herself to
pobrecita,
eat her cake.
pobrecita.
There's no doubt that there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro Archon. Perhaps Iudex Neuvillette is actually the genuine article.
No, pero en ese
I
caso no.
have to find the Gnosis.
Yo también lo pensé.
If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is probably in possession of it. Alternatively, it might have been hidden in a place that's hard for ordinary people to access.
Yes, Father.
My dear children, please speak.
News from the fortress of Meripede. Master Child has gone missing. On top of that, the contacts and guards we bribed at the fortress have all gone quiet as well.
Probably the handiwork of that Ridesley.
I'm afraid so.
This is a good opportunity. The value of a Harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. We now have an excuse to exert diplomatic pressure on the Fontaine authorities. Set up a meeting for me. I would like to meet the Hydro Archon and Iudex Neuvillette.
Se está
Oh,
fregadazo.
and I have an additional mission for you three.
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it to make a breakthrough. With this as my excuse, I can ask for an official audience and continue my investigation of Furina and Iudex Neuvillette. The initiative belongs to the House of the
Plan bien
Hearth.
complejo para
My
conseguir
wish
la
to
gnosis, pero
investigate
que
the
al final
fortress of Meripede will be a front.
causó de que ella
Lenny
también se
and his
preocupara
group
por
will be
puta. ¿Cómo vas a
responsible for the
terminar todo esto?
actual
Sí.
intelligence gathering.
Vino buscando oro y terminó encontrando caca.
Sí, literalmente algo así.
Pobrecito.
You should know the rest. Lenny's group is quite close to you, so they wouldn't have hidden anything from you.
You attacked the Hydro Archon?
Por eso es que estaba.
It
con
wouldn't
miedo.
mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, even Furina herself is still pretending that nothing of that sort ever happened.
Alright then.
I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Furina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised that Iudex Neuvillette must be the Hydro Archon, but now, that doesn't seem right to me either. I am a servant of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries themselves. Whether Iudex Neuvillette or Furina, neither fits the bill. It's hard to imagine either of them as the Archon. Of course, that is all just how I feel. Gut feelings often do not require justification. It is, however, quite amusing to me that after all my years working in intelligence gathering, I've come to realize I am at a complete loss regarding the identity of the god of the land of my birth. Don't you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? A catastrophe looms, yet many secrets have yet to rise to the surface. It looks like Fontainians will have no choice but to save themselves. Ultimately, though, one must survive in order to do anything else. Should the need arise, I would be happy to cooperate with you. You don't need to commit to anything right now, of course. I have a feeling that the situation will continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together someday.
Viva
He
Cristo Rey.
certainly returned quickly. You must want to catch up with each other, so I'll leave you to him.
Neuvillette, is it over?
For now, yes. But this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. I'm concerned that sooner or later the prophesized events will occur. Thank you for protecting Furina. To put it simply, I used my power to force back the primordial sea and reseal the sluice gate.
A ver, vamos a contar el chisme.
So as expected, the knave has turned up the pressure on Furina. She's trying to feel her out, though I'm still unsure as to her motives.
Quiero preguntar algo.
Permission granted.
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real Hydro Archon, right?
Sí.
But that's just a speculation on our part, though.
No, él es el dragón.
Can't tell us? Then that's okay. We can talk about something else. We won't try to force you. You guys in Fontaine are super strange.
No, creo que es algo de
If by the phrase "you guys" you are referring to Furina and I, then although I'm not sure just what you are trying to imply, I must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics. I believe so. The fortress has a long and complex history. It has seen much grief and suffering. And now, another catastrophe will soon be upon us. I mourn this turn of events.
Huh? Why is it raining
Está
all of a
triste,
sudden?
no.
Sí, ve. Ahora ya sabe.
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Oh? And what are you thinking? The dragon of... what?
Es tontero de Fontaine.
Please do not be so surprised. Furina?
Salió de su choza.
Neuvillette! Neuvillette, are you listening?
Ah, my apologies.
We were just guessing randomly. We didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually the dragon sovereign of water, right?
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to keep this a secret for me.
Sí, normal.
Right, of course.
Solo sé que
We'll
ahora cada vez que
definitely
llueva-
help
que
you
llueva
keep it
está
a
llorando este
secret.
pata.
There's still something Paimon wants to ask
Sí,
you,
bueno,
though.
está triste, significa.
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the dragon sovereign of water, and you were able to force back the primordial sea from the fortress, then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater, couldn't you just use your power to solve the crisis?
No.
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included, possess our full dragonhood.
Dile esos
They
tonteros.
say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Archon's
Uy,
authorities.
Lore.
There are 7 elemental
¿Ves? Te dije.
archons and 7 matching dragon sovereigns.
Uy,
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our ancient history. In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend finding another way to deal with the
o
prophecy.
sea, para que este tenga todo su poder
Oh,
Furina tendría que
so
morir.
even you can't solve it.
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office. If you have any more questions regarding ancient history, you are welcome to discuss them with me at a later time.
Please go right ahead. There's a place that Paimon wants to go too. Traveler, we'll see you another time.
No, yo quiero ver
Take
a
care.
dónde se está yendo Furina. No la puedo dejar sola. ¿Dónde se fue?
Bueno, ahora volver al... ¿Cómo se llama? A la cárcel.
¿En serio?
Sí,
No
todavía tienes
friegues.
que... Creo que está haciendo la enfermería, ¿no?
Sí.
Y entonces te vas a encontrar con los tipos esos. Con The Clowns.
Clowns.
Now guess, what suit will this next card be?
A bare-teethed cat?
Well, well, look who it is.
Ah, no le dejaron adivinar.
Traveler, Paimon.
Hello, everyone.
Looks like you're recovering
Ya
nicely
no se le
from
ve
it,
tan
eh?
mal.
Mm-hmm. Thanks to everyone's support. Oh, right. I managed to work up the courage to thank Miss Clorand in person.
Whoa, how did she react?
She told me that it was nothing. It was as if saving a life wasn't a big deal to her at all. She also told me not to worry about it.
She didn't want to stress you out, that's all. She's right, and it's best not to dwell on it.
Yeah.
Okay, but check this out. We went back to the opera house and we met the knave.
Ah, su-
You met father? Did she say anything to you?
¿Por qué le
She said a
dicen
few
padre?
things that were,
Yo vi un chiste
a
por ahí
bit
que era,
hard to
era
understand.
Stan Mommy que le dice
and
al
also
papá.
that she's looking forward to working with us in the future.
Her attitude towards you is even better than what we'd imagined. That's fantastic. You should believe her. She
¿Será que
has her
Arlequino
own way
también
of
se une de
doing
nuestro
things,
lado?
and
O
she'll
sea,
do
es de los
everything in her
partícipes
power to
que
help
están de
those
nuestro
she
lado.
considers close, which now might also include you.
No estoy seguro, en verdad.
Father is
Claro.
very
Porque mira,
capable.
No tiene
and
la
also
Doctor
actitud
trustworthy.
como
Ignora-
para eso, por lo menos hasta el
Oh,
momento
Paimon
no.
just remembered
Doctor
that she
Ignora-
thought Lenny was a bit
Ok,
too
no, es
proud
obvio
as
que no iban a
well.
hacer de nuestro
She
lado.
said that you should learn how
Tartaglia
to rely on
Escaramujo, que
others
Escaramujo
Ah,
aparece
sometimes.
al
bueno,
principio, al
si
final
ignora,
Got it.
Sí, yo sé.
si ignora obviamente
That does
no
sound like
está
something
quemada.
my father
No,
would say.
Dottore menos.
Hey!
Escaramujo está de nuestro lado.
Are
Tartaglia
you
está de
going to
nuestro lado.
stay here for the next few days?
Es que Signora tiene que
Looks
hacer que se
like it,
muera porque
yeah.
sean pares, pues.
Excellent.
Bueno,
I will host a tea
números
party.
iguales.
For real? Then Paimon wants another
Bueno,
serving of
bueno, sí,
cake.
pero
Another implies
Bueno,
that
ya
you
veremos,
already
en verdad.
No
served
creo
some
que
delicious
Arlequino esté
cake
de
while you
nuestro
were
lado al
out
fin.
there.
Bueno, aunque sus hijos sí lo están, así que
how
Arlequino sí de
lovely.
nuestro lado.
Well, next time, you're going to have
Y
tea
a
and
los
snacks
otros
with
sí no va a
us.
estar. Pierro no va a estar de nuestro lado sí o sí. Y Furina tampoco. No van a, eso va a estar contra nuestro.
no creo que, bueno, ellos en definitiva van a estar a favor.
De ahí por lo que vi que el capitán no estaba con marca, de repente también está de nuestro lado. Sandrone, hay teorías de que dicen que quiso.
Ahí está. Pregúntale. A ver qué tal. Loli.
Traveler, Paimon, you're back. Are you still doing all right? Did either of you get hurt? We're fine, but what about you guys? It was such a huge mess. How a few
Sí,
people
ya se
sustained
regresaron todos,
superficial
creo, ¿no?
injuries, but that's about the extent of the damage. Monsieur Nervulet paid us a visit. It was all thanks to him that we managed to suppress the crisis for the
Esta
time
está feliz
being.
porque no lee los físicos.
Of course, we must also thank you for the help you provided. How did Nervalet know that he was needed here? Well, Monsieur Nervalet has strong resonance with the hydro element. When the water level rises, he can feel the waves produced. I ran into the bombshell bros while bandaging the injuries of the wounded. They were mumbling the whole time about how you just ran down without a word. If you're not too pressed for time, please stay with us a few more days. Just let me know if you get a craving for any particular dish, so I can have Mr. Walsey get your meals prepared. Oh, and please feel free to visit the infirmary for a break. I'd like to take the opportunity to spend some more time observing your facial muscles as well. Your happy smiles are quite contagious, you know. They're so memorable, and I've missed them immensely while you were gone.
Le falta uno nada más. Bueno, el dúo.
You guys are back?
You guys didn't get caught and thrown back down here, right?
Huh? No, not at all.
And here I thought you'd managed to escape from jail during all the commotion. I'd held you up as legendary jailbreakers, but now you're telling me you just never left?
No, pues. Well, o sea, sí, pero no.
We're sorry, but we just had some business to take care of.
All right. There's no need to get caught up in the details. We're just relieved to see you. He was super worried about you, you know.
Hey, it wasn't just me. Weren't you super worried as well?
Something like that, yeah. I was also transferred to work in the kitchen a few days ago. I can still hear Quisto mumbling to the carrots. Are those two all right? Do you think they made it out alive? Whenever he'd say that, I'd tell him I'm sure they're fine. Wherever they are, they're kicking back with drinks in hand, enjoying the lovely scenery.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with
O
worrying
sea,
about your prison
técnicamente
pals.
con
He's there.
todo
I mean, considering how they
la
always
reunión
love listening
con
to all my
Arlequino fue eso,
gossip.
¿no?
Sí.
Pero nada
You sure
agradable.
are a lot warmer and friendlier than when...
Oh, well, if you say so. I'll be watching you to make sure you finish every lap.
Hora a dormir.
No, o sí. Ah, no, sí. Ah, no. Raisley.
Ah, no, todavía no. Raisley primero.
Abajo. Me encanta que nunca vemos oficina. Ah, no, estos.
Jurier, Miss Sishween told me you still haven't eaten.
Yeah, I was working on something,
Todos
so
están
I
juntos.
forgot.
Sí o sí.
That's no excuse for... Huh?
Junior, Lurvine, we're back!
Hello there. It's been quite the mess here recently. How have you been?
And you? Are you still taking the secret passageway from the infirmary to work on the ship?
Yep. That is still top secret, though. So don't say a word to anyone.
It can be a bit annoying when there are lots of people in the infirmary, but I still prefer taking that route over the one from the Duke's office.
¿Por qué?
I mean, the infirmary does make it easier for you to slack off.
Oh yeah? Then why are you also here so much?
You two really are just using your jobs as a cover for your relationship, aren't you?
Not at all!
Yo creo que sí. ¿Qué dices, mono?
En verdad no sé. O sea, no me interesa mucho tampoco ese subplot.
Mira. ¿Viste?
Uy, sí, lo atravesaste.
¿Qué fue? Yo
Bueno,
quiero-
no sé, pero...
Yo quiero
a
bajar
ver,
por acá.
te-
Yo sé que se va a poder en algún punto. Porque mira, está todo conectado.
Cuando salga Furina posiblemente.
A ver, si tiene,
Ya, ahora
si
sí,
tiene animación,
¿cómo se
déjame
llama?
ver. No, no tiene animación, ok. No está programado para eso. Ah, ahora sí vamos con Raisley. Con el piano.
Sí.
Do my eyes deceive me, or did I just see two inmates come back after making it to the surface? Some strange winds blowing of late.
We wanted to see how the fortress is doing. Is everything
Sus
still
misiones
alright?
legendarias también las tengo que grabar.
We're fine for the most part. Neuvillette came down
Bueno,
and took
esto no
care
lo
of the
he
worst
hecho
of it.
todavía.
If that's the case, why don't you just
Primero
ask
la
him to
Nubilet,
stay
después
here?
Twilight.
Sí, haré la de
What a
Nubilet.
brilliant plan. Let's go convince the Udex himself to exchange the Courts of Fontaine for a puddle of water in the middle of nowhere. He came here in a hurry and left
Sí,
without
ni
even
a balas va a
stopping
venir
for
para
a
acá
cup of
abajo.
tea.
A menos que sea
He did remember to
importantísimo.
take Miss Sigewin's gift with him, though.
Ya me antojó un teta.
He sure sounds super busy.
Miss Cloran has left as well. She also took her gift from Miss Sigewin.
Were the gifts milkshakes?
Nervalette got the milkshake. Clorand received lipstick instead.
Oye, oye.
Those aren't even remotely alike.
Sí, pues.
Well, it's Nervalette's own fault for making Sigewin worried about his health by working so much. But besides that, our head nurse is still pretty fond of picking out beauty products for the ladies. Oh, and I have some gifts here for you as well.
Are these from Sijuin too?
Nope, they're from yours truly. You've already wrapped up your work at the fortress, so you can return to the surface at any time. You haven't yet served your full prison term, however, so you may continue to use your cell until your term is up.
For real? Then we could stay here for a really long time?
You may access the cafeteria for free. Just remember to come complete your paperwork once it's time for your release.
Yo supongo que ya el quinto acto ya va a ser nosotros salir de la cárcel.
Bueno, o sea, supongo que ya será el enfrentamiento que tengan y ya que
O sea,
Furina
bueno, la misión con Graveslade, supongo.
Ah, a lo mejor.
Sí, es muy probable. Eso y que en Furina ya tenemos un enfrentamiento con Arlequino o algo.
Yo creo que será Arlequino.
Tiene que haber un boss en cada nación al menos.
Yo creo que va a ser Arlequino, en verdad. Sí, tiene.
De Moza no hay. Porque tampoco estamos tan fuertes como Moza como enfrentamiento así.
Bueno, el Mondstadt era otro problema. Acá también podría ser otro problema, si no es Arlequino.
Había spoilers que decían que Sandrón iba a estar acá.
Todavía no sabemos en verdad, pero ahora a mimir.
We're back in our cell again. We're no longer. Being free sure feels pretty special now. Huh? How do you know? Hey, that's not true.
Que ya el video está muy largo.
It's like we've now. There are so many bad things in the world. You're counting Paimon today?
Sí.
Aren't you the only adventurer here?
Sí.
Then let's ask Catherine to give Paimon an adventurer handbook as well. Paimon will also be an adventurer from today forward.
Cobramos dobles.
Just the thoughts making Paimon giddy. The last time we fell asleep here, we woke up to a whole mess outside our cell. The primordial sea. We should be
Esperemos que no
safe
sea
now,
igual
right?
ahorita.
All right then. Good night to you,
No,
traveler.
por favor, ya está muy largo el video. A mimir.
Sí.
Ay, no me fui. Ah, no, la visión de Tatalia.
Sí, esto es lo último.
¿Qué? ¿Dónde está? Ah, mandó cinemática y todo.
¿No ves el color?
¿Está en el agua?
¿No ves el color del agua?
¿Está en el agua primordial?
Sí.
¿Estás ahí abajo?
Sí.
Casi viendo tu ulti, mano. Eso es ulti. Bueno, hasta acá se queda el video. Gracias por ver. Suscríbanse, denle like si les gustó. Si no les gustó, envíenselo a un amigo para que también sufran viendo esto. Y ya saben cómo va la cosa.
Qué grande.
Exacto. Fíjate, vamos a subir su constelación porque tú sabes, pues, ya está. Bueno, espero. Bueno, nos vemos en siguientes videos. Chao.